Today, a story that the deep state would like to keep out of the spotlight because there's now more hope that one of the significant players who wasted tens of millions of your tax dollars will be made to face justice for his partisan and what looks to be illegal actions that led to the infamous Russia investigation. I'm speaking of Obama's CIA Director John Brennan. Investigative reporter Paul Sperry has just released a developing story about investigators learning that Brennan set up a task force to target then-candidate Donald Trump. That would certainly explain a lot of what happened with the Russia story. Former CIA analyst Larry C. Johnson said a retired CIA colleague told him in October of 2019 that Brennan had set up a task force, hand-picking the group himself instead of going through the usual posting. Apparently not everyone accepted the invitation, which could be a problem for John Brennan. I'm not talking about an informal group of disgruntled Democrats working at the CIA who got together kind of like a book club to grouse and complain about the brash real estate guy from New York, though I imagine they did that sort of thing too. It was a specially designed covert action to try to destroy Donald Trump. The way Johnson explains it, a CIA task force can be expanded to include personnel from other intel agencies, such as the FBI, the DIA, the NSA. It operates outside the CIA organizational chart. A typical and appropriate use for it might be to go after foreign terrorists or even drug traffickers. It would certainly not be used to go after a U.S. presidential candidate. But Johnson was told that's exactly what Brennan did, with the blessings of the then Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, who was in charge of coordinating the various intel agencies. Johnson's friends in the CIA have told him that the task force was operating in early 2016 and possibly well before then. And according to Johnson, the anti-Trump task force included CIA case officers, intel analysts, as well as administrators. Importantly, personnel from the FBI might also have been invited, including the FBI's handler for the confidential human source, Christopher Steele, who was a former British spy. CIA case officers on the task force would have been able to work with foreign intelligence, such as Steele, and diplomat Alexander Downer from Australia. And they also could have used the NSA to do targeted collections, that's to say, to intercept their communications. Let me again stress, all of these activities are legal when they're used against foreign terrorists or against drug traffickers. They are not legal when used against any U.S. citizen, and most especially against a major party nominee for president. Johnson hopes there's also been an investigation into the so-called impeachment whistleblower, Eric Ciaramella, to see if he was part of the task force or perhaps maybe he was reporting to them. If this is the way that Brennan was using a CIA task force, it was illegal. But even if all he was trying to do was to tie Trump to the Russians, he was never able to because the facts prove Trump wasn't conspiring with the Russians. Paul Sperry made news when he said not only that Brennan did this, but that investigators, quote, have learned, end quote, that he did this. That means incriminating evidence. I assumed he's referring to John Durham's investigators. Here's what Sperry actually said. Investigators have learned that Obama CIA Director John Brennan ran a secret task force out of Langley with its own separate budget to investigate Trump campaign and the alleged ties to Russia. Task force set up before FBI officially launched its own probe on July 31st of 2016. So it had its own separate budget. Doesn't it just warm your heart to learn that the government used your hard-earned money to fund a super secret witch hunt? And according to another journalist, Adam Housley, Brennan had been doing this well before Trump. John Brennan ran his own op. Housley said he's been reporting it for 3 years. According to the Washington Examiner, Brennan was questioned by Durham's team at Langley, his old stomping ground, but Brennan's spokesperson has said that he was told he was not a subject or a target of Durham's investigation. I can't help but note the similarity between that statement and what the FBI told Michael Flynn when they questioned him. At the same time, according to ranking members of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes, Brennan is not in the clear, as he lied under oath to Congress about not including the Steele dossier in the intel community assessment of Trump-Russia collusion back in January of 2017.
We have real grown-ups now that are running this investigation. So I don't think Brennan's in the clear at all. The top of our intelligence services, they have tried and true methods to actually look and gather intelligence that go through many checks and triple checks, all the way through, so that by the time you get something, it's believable, So he would have to know if he's peddling this is just pure nonsense, and it's not something that a CIA director should be engaged in.
Brennan, who loathes President Trump and has even called him a traitor, is up to his eyeballs in this. And it seems these off-the-book task forces were his MO. That's even before he cranked one up against the future president. It's almost inevitable that some participants are going to skate in this, but let's hope that justice will finally be served to the one who led and fed the whole thing. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, consider subscribing to the channel below and be sure to click the notification bell. Please leave a like and a comment. And while you're doing that, share the video as well if you really enjoyed it. By the way, if you want more of my news analysis and commentary, sign up for my newsletter at MikeHuckabee.com. It is completely free, delivered twice daily to your email box. Also, be sure to order my new book about how 3 foundational elements made America the incredible country it is today. The book is called The 3 C's That Made America Great: Christianity, Capitalism, and the Constitution. It's available wherever books are sold or at HuckabeeBooks.com. And that's it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.